And we back with another one, man. Unnerving encounter on the roads at night. Oh, this is the first title I ever seen where he didn't say 3 or 4 disturbing true horror story, bro. It's the first time. I wonder why. I'm not stopping. That's facts. That's facts. If you do, that's natural selection, bro. Let's get into it, man. No further delay. Unnerving encounters on the roads at night. Let's go.
At around 7:40 p.m., an Australian man named Mitch Cooney was driving down the Hume Highway in Bardia, Australia. He was returning from a racing event and heading home to Gold Coast City when, completely out of nowhere, he saw a childlike figure standing in the middle of the road. The figure was wearing a blue parka, and from the few seconds he was in view, it looked like he was trying to cross the highway. Now, Mitch was driving at nearly 60 miles an hour, or around 96 kilometers per hour. He was also towing a large toy hauler behind his car. Trying to brake or suddenly move out of the way in these conditions would have certainly resulted in a devastating accident, so Mitch had no choice but to keep driving. Fortunately, he managed to avoid the mysterious figure by mere inches. Fearing the safety of a potential child wandering the Hume Highway, his mother, who was also with him at the time, contacted the Australian police almost seconds later. The officers online assured them that they were putting patrols out immediately. However, Mitch couldn't stop thinking about what he saw. Trying to do everything he could, he called the police again at 8:29 p.m. and offered the dashcam footage he'd captured of this figure. But to Mitch's surprise, the officers told him that they swept the area and actually found a young child matching the description he provided, and that he was being returned to his home as they spoke. What a child was doing in the middle of a highway at night, miles from the nearest civilization, was still a big mystery.
Where the fuck is your parents? Like, first of all, you don't even look like a fucking child. I don't know what this is, but it's not a kid. Are you lucky your ass was in Australia? You couldn't have been in America. If you was in America crossing the highway, first off, we're not doing sit still on the highway. That's facts. I don't know what place in America is doing sit still on the highway, bro. They're doing a smooth 80, bro, minimum. A smooth 75, smooth 80, a smooth 120. Boy, if you would, boy, your ass would have been plastered, bro. You would have been planted on that ground, bro. Lord forbid, I'm glad it happened in Australia, bro. Now, how did you even survive at night in Australia, bro? Australia got the wildest wildlife you will ever see, bro. Australia is the devil's playground. Where God Redress lived at, bro. Where like the God and devil just testing shit. And things that were too far dangerous for earth, heaven, and hell reside at, bro. How do you survive there at night? How do you survive the kangaroos, the massive spiders, the predators, and the cars? There's a lot of shit, a mess going on around this bitch.
But at least he was safe now. As Mitch
Oh yeah, throw their parents away, bro. Get their parents too. Everybody related gotta go to jail for that one.
Put it on Facebook later that night. I felt absolutely sick when all this happened. I instantly felt so much better when I was told the kid had been collected. However, just when Mitch thought everything worked out okay, things took a wild turn. After confirming that the kid was safe, Mitch uploaded the video from his dashcam onto the internet, hoping to share the unnerving encounter he had with others. But as the video and his story gained traction, the New South Wales Police Department came forward and announced that they didn't find any child on the highway that night, completely contradicting what they had told Mitch that night. According to the official report, they scoured the surrounding area for nearly 8 hours, searching until 3:45 a.m. before finally calling it off and finding no trace of a child nearby. The department stated that multiple cars attended and commenced a search of the area. However, no child was located, and the
Oh, they lied to his ass. Oh, they lied to him. They was like, man, we ain't find that kid, bro. They was like, man, we ain't find that kid, but we're gonna tell you we found them. So that since you got footage of him, we're gonna tell you found him, bro, so you don't gotta worry about it no more, bro. So we can put you at ease and you go on with your life without questioning it again. But little did you know, this is 2025, and everything we do, think, breathe, think about is going online, bro. So they had the right plan, but wrong error. Wrong error, bro. Wrong error, bro. Everybody want attention to feel special, bro. He posted that shit. Damn, bro, that do make sense though, bro. Cause a kid ain't gonna make it through all that, bro.
Search concluded. Now, there's no reason to believe that the NSW police would lie on an official report like this. What's more likely is that the person talking to Mitch earlier didn't know the full details and just made things up. Or maybe it was nothing more than a terrible case of miscommunication, where the police searching for the child somehow got twisted into them already having found him. But if
And it's the first time so far when I've seen that the person who submitted a story submitted a picture to be used in it. And out of all the pictures of you use this? You use this freaky ass shit? Out of all the pictures of you, bro, this is what you submitted. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. He's trying to get some hoes. He's trying to get some hoes. I don't know what this American Eagle looking at motherfucker is trying to accomplish, but he's like, man, what he said? What, Mr. Nightmare? You got what? 6.8 million followers, subscribers, and that's just people who subscribed. We're not talking about people that watch the video, because if you do YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. The people that watch the video but don't subscribe, like a lot of y'all asses, yeah, that means you can throw another 2 million on that shit. He like, man, I'm finna get me some hoes. I'm finna show them that I'm caring, kind, I care about kids. I didn't let it go. I tried to save a life, and I'm gonna submit this photo of me. Abs out, on a boat, living my best life, pearly white teeth. Yeah, that man, yeah, this freaky ass little dude. I know what you were doing, bro. I know what you were doing, bro. I don't blame you, bro. Oh, you thought I was finna scold that nigga? You thought I was finna tell Mitch you're wrong for that. This is a serious situation. Nah, my boy. You did right. You did right by me, Mitch. You did right.
Details and just made things up.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was nothing more than a terrible case of miscommunication,
So I might send one in too.
where the police searching for the child somehow got twisted into them already having found him. But if the child was never found, what happened to him? The answer to that question, however, could be anything. Maybe its parents noticed their kid missing and took him back home, or he could have been potentially kidnapped by someone who saw a child roaming the highway alone at night and took advantage of the opportunity. Though none of those theories explain how the child got to that spot in the first place. Unfortunately, the case remains an unsolved.
And who kidnapped kids, bro? And this economy, bro. Who kidnapped kids, bro? Who and why? I need to talk to somebody who kidnapped kids, bro. Maybe I might go to like a prison website and see what the charges are, and just find some random ass people who kidnap kids, bro, and like pay them a visit and ask like why, bro. Like what made you want to kidnap a kid, bro? Like what do you get out of that? Like that shit weird. Like that shit weird, bro.
Mystery to this day, and with so little coverage, it's unlikely we'll get answers anytime soon. On May 8th, 2021, TikToker Pissed Pasta, real name Malie Perales.
Damn. Okay, my boy. Okay, Mitch. Okay, Mitch. I see why you're doing it. I see why you're setting a third trap, my boy. I see why.
Was returning from a night out with her friends and roommates around 2:30 a.m.
Oh.
However, what was
she sent her pitch rent. Oh, she wants some simps. She want her bills paid. Oh, she want her vacation and bills paid. She's like, know what, Mitch, you own or something, bro. Let me do that. Oh, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. She gonna get her shit paid, bro. Looking like that? Yeah, her OnlyFans went up. Whatever she doing, bro, yeah, she well taken care of. Looking like that? Yeah. Yeah, that's so weird, bro. She's straight. I know her following went up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna check that out while he talking. I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna see how much followers she got now. I'm gonna see how many followers she got now.
May 8th, 20.
I'm gonna see how many followers she got now, right? But I'm gonna see how much she got after this video was posted.
2021, TikToker Pissed
Let me see, bro. So she got 32.2K. Where my phone at? Where my phone at, bro? I know I ain't tripping, but I just want to, I want to see if I'm tripping. Pissed pasta. Oh, it didn't go up. Oh, shit. $32 point following. Month, blah, blah, blah. Want to following followers. Okay, our following didn't go up. She following somebody else. They ain't go up. Maybe this shit new. I don't know.
Pasta,
Give it
real
time.
name Malie Perales,
Okay.
was returning from a night out with her friends and roommates around 2:30 a.m. However, what was supposed to be a fun hangout took a disturbing turn when, while driving down the Packard Drive Northeast Road next to the Rogue River in Belmont, Michigan, one of them spotted a shadowy figure crawling onto the road.
What the
Mr. Nightmare, you don't drop the low. Mr. Nightmare, how you moving? Mr. Nightmare. You gonna drop short of location? God damn, Hosty gave consent for that, my boy. That boy dropped the whole location. Alright?
Stop. No,
Stop.
I'm not. No. Hell no.
What the
Who the fuck said stop? Who said it? Who said it? So who said, wait, that's something crawling in the road? Hey, stop, stop. That nigga let it turn around and said, nigga, hell no. Hell, is you dumb? Is you good, mud? Brody, broski, is you cool? Do you have fevers? Do you have fever? Do you have symptoms of mad cattle? Like, what the fuck made you see something crawling in the road and say, hey, stop?
dude?
Oh. They were soaked.
After discussing for a bit, the group decided to circle back and check what it was, and this is what they came across.
There's
Natural selection, bro. Natural selection. Natural fucking selection, bro. Natural selection, bro, at its finest. Once again, eating good.
Bro, what the See? That was it. That was it. She's crying.
It looked like a young woman, possibly in her 20s or 30s, sitting on the road while either waving at the car or banging her own head. She was also drenched from head to toe in 48° Fahrenheit or about 9° Celsius weather. Malie's group circled back one more time to confirm what they saw, and this time the woman had completely collapsed onto the road. By this point, Malie and her friends had realized that this woman was likely in dire need of medical assistance, but there was also a chance that this was a setup for a robbery, so they made the smart choice and called 911 without getting out of their car. The first responders and the police arrived shortly after and took her to a nearby hospital. Malie returned to the spot they found her a few hours later, and it was still wet from the water dripping from her clothes. More importantly, she also found dig marks on the roadside near the river, suggesting that the woman had likely fallen in and swam out onto the road just minutes before Malie's group passed by. After some investigation, the police also found her car parked behind a house near the river. In other words, she most likely fell into the river on the east side and managed to swim all the way across to the other side. Inquiring about her in the Facebook group for this neighborhood also revealed that she had actually interacted with.
Is it unprofessional to get the fuck up and go get me some apple juice? Absolutely. Do I give a fuck? Absolutely not. Y'all ain't come here for me, bro. Y'all came for these stories, bro. Y'all keep watching this shit.
With some of the residents earlier that day, though her interactions were unnerving to say the least. Saw this person between Van Dam and Packer Woods around 10:15 p.m. Friday, asked her if she needed help, to which she responded no. Another quote, "There's another report by a guy on Douglas Street in the Westsiders uniforms page who had a similar situation with a woman walking into his home this week. She walked right into someone's house yelling, 'Hello, hello, hello,' then just left. She was wandering the backyard too." Though who she was and how she ended up there is still a mystery. Over the next few days, she recovered enough to tell investigators that she was from Kalamazoo, a town that's over 60 miles away from where she was found. but she didn't have any memory of ever driving to Belmont, which sounds strange at first, but actually has a surprisingly plausible explanation. You see, this woman was a 28-year-old Chinese student named May, who went missing from Kalamazoo on May 6th, 2 days before she was discovered in Belmont. Before going missing, she also told her friends that she felt like she had a stalker. Upon hearing this, one of the first theories that comes to mind is that maybe she was kidnapped and then thrown into the river by this stalker. But it's important to note that according to the few witnesses in the police investigation, she drove to Belmont on her own. It's unclear whether this stalker was even real or not. However, the stress of feeling like she was constantly being watched likely messed with her mental state and triggered a dissociative fugue state, which, for those who don't know, is a mental condition where the person forgets who they are and often starts doing things they otherwise wouldn't do. Some even go as far as moving to other cities and building new lives before they snap out of the state and come to their senses. What makes this already unsettling condition even worse is that the patient usually doesn't remember what they did during that fugue state either, and that's what likely happened to May. She got stressed, went into a fugue state, wandered around in her car for a couple of days, and eventually ended up in the river. Fortunately, she was able to come to her senses and swim to the shore before losing her life.
If you say so.
On the 12th of October 2016, a family in Sheffield, England, went to the Drawbridge pub for a night out, and after an evening of fun and laughter, they decided to head back home at around midnight. The roads in that area are usually deserted at that hour, so they were already on guard for any robbers or other criminals they might run into on their way back. However, nothing in the world could have prepared them for what they came across just 5 minutes later. Seconds after they rounded the corner to the Grange Mill Lane Road, a man dressed in a clown costume jumped out from the shadows and blocked the road, forcing the driver to stop. He then started waving at the
Bro, I can't even say what I would have done. That would get me sent straight to hell. I would have, boy, let me tell you something, bro. He found the right people. He in the right state, in the right city, playing with the right people. Cause boy, me, anybody in Atlanta, anybody in Georgia and Atlanta, boy, we would have had a field day with his ass. We would have been playing pickleball with his body. We would be playing pickleball with his fucking body. Do you not understand what we're doing? Do you not understand? You don't understand what we're doing? What the fuck? But we'll play volleyball with your courts with our cars. Boy, I ain't gonna lie to you. But it will be the last time you ever do something stupid like that, bro. I swear to God. I swear to God, people be finding the right people to play with, bro. I'm telling you, bro, I went straight to a car wash. And got you off my fucking car, bro. And kept going with my life. I'm telling you, bro. And in the morning, right, I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even think about it. It wouldn't even cross my mind no more.
car. And as soon as it came to a full stop, he started running towards it while still blocking the path forward. When the driver tried to reverse his car and go the other way, the clown started sprinting at full speed. Typically, something like this could be dismissed as just some troll or a YouTuber making a scaring people at night as a clown video, especially given that this was 2016. However, due to an incident that happened just 3 days earlier, the driver of this car had no choice but to assume the worst. You see, on October 9th, at around 8:45 p.m., a man named Simon Chinnery was attacked by a knife-wielding clown in public. Fortunately, the attacker was apprehended before he could do any lethal damage to Simon. Sadly, Simon still suffered multiple slashes to his right hand, leaving it permanently disfigured to the point of being classified as a disability. What's worse than the attack itself was that it went viral and started a craze of thousands of others trying to imitate the attacker.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. In 2016, that was if y'all don't know, right? 2016, right? There was a killer clown pandemic. You feel me? And I was just gonna pause the video and say that, like, yeah, bro, it was a killer clown pandemic where motherfuckers would dress like clowns, trying to break into schools and shit, trying to kill people, break into people's houses and shit, bro. And that shit was big across the country, but especially in the fucking South. And that was a real pandemic. No, that's the craziest pandemic to ever happen, bro.
In some parts of the country, the police departments were receiving as many as 23 reports of people threatening others dressed as clowns per day. And while many of these imitators were nothing more than trolls who had no real intentions of harming others, there were those who took things too far, with some trying to force their way into people's cars and chasing women and children with knives.
No, I ain't lying. Some of them were just fucking around. But a lot of other ones was dead ass serious, bro. No, they was dead ass serious about what the fuck they were gonna do to you if they could catch you, bro.
So for this driver to see a man in a clown costume blocking their car while all this was going on had to be deeply unnerving for him. Their fear became worse when they tried to flee the clown, because it started chasing them like a madman. With no other option, the driver was forced to press the pedal to the metal. And
I'm glad they realized, bro, that, hey, like, it's a lot of shit you can do. Like, it's a lot of shit you can get away with, bro. But you could get away with back then, but you can't get away with now. Because, like, even with YouTube pranks and shit, I think people are realizing that, hey, these motherfucking civilians and people that I think are everyday people, they will really kill our ass. They'll really, like, it's not even, like, particularly about, like, it's not even about, like, it's not even a particular race you got to worry about. It's not like, hey, man, let me not prank black people that'll shoot us. No, it's black people that do it, white, Asian, everybody. It doesn't matter your race, skin tone, your height, how you look, your gender, your size, your age. Everybody nowadays, bro, they will pop your ass. I like, it's crazy that, like, that shit would not fly in 2025. It wouldn't fly. Matter of fact, people in 2025 is looking for a reason to shoot somebody. They would, if there was a killer clown pandemic during 2025, people would go around. People would urge people to start dressing up like clowns for your own safety. Same thing with the pranks and shit, or people hopping in, scaring people and shit. People are being urged to stop doing that shit. You feel me? Cause streaming, hey, it's a prank, it's a prank. Ain't gonna prevent the repercussions. And it's not gonna get the other person. You feel me? It's not gonna put you in the right and the other person in the wrong. You feel me? Cause what the fuck are you doing?
hope for the best, with the clown jumping out of the way at the last second. This entire situation could have just as easily ended with the clown losing his life if he had even been a fraction of a second slower to jump away. On the other hand, who knows what the attacker might have done if the driver hadn't sped off.
Facts.
On June 2nd, 2018, one of the officers for Fulshire Police Department in Texas was driving back to the station after his shift, when suddenly he saw the car in front of him swerve onto the next lane to avoid hitting something. But this wasn't a tree branch or an animal. Instead, it was something that looked like the aftermath of either a horrific crime or an accident. A young woman in a blue shirt was lying down horizontally across the road and was
What the fuck happened to her ass?
completely still, suggesting that she was either unconscious or dead. Maybe someone decided to dump the body in the middle of the road after committing the crime. Fortunately, when the officer walked up to her, she not only responded to him, but even stood up on her own. As it turned out, she had driven her car into the ditch next to the road just minutes earlier. Later tests also discovered an extremely high blood alcohol concentration in her system. Put simply, she was driving under the influence and ended up crashing.
Lock her ass up. That's all I need. Hey, Mr. Nightmare. Mr. NM. I'm gonna wrap that video up. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna next story. She gone.
Crashing into the side. The concussion from the accident, combined with her prior intoxication, made her behave extremely irrationally, which is why she walked up to the road and lay down without a care in the world. It's nothing short of a miracle that the car in front of the officer was able to spot and avoid her in time, or she would have ended up as nothing more than a cautionary tale about driving under the influence.
I'm gonna turn your ass on a safety video.
On the night of
Oh, he did wrap that shit up. Oh, shit.
February 26, 1946, 25-year-old Jimmy Hollis and his girlfriend Mary Jean were returning to their homes in Texarkana, Texas after watching a movie together. But before they reached the city limits, Jimmy stopped the car on the side of the road to extend their date for a short while. What neither of them knew, however, was that this little detour would nearly cost them their lives. About 10 minutes after they had stopped, a man came out of the nearby woods and approached the car. He was wearing a white pillowcase over his head with 2 small holes for eyes. The rest of his face was completely hidden from view. He told Jimmy to get out of the car, but Jimmy initially believed that this was a prank of sorts and didn't pay much attention to it. The masked
They had pranks from 1940? I don't know if that was dawned on me to think or what. I'm just surprised. They had a prank by 1940. He pulled out that mother. That bitch got a silencer.
man then pulled out his firearm and pointed it towards the couple, stating, "I don't want to kill you, fella. Just do what I say." Understanding the gravity of the situation, Jimmy got out of the car as the masked man instructed. As soon as he did, the man swung his weapon at Jimmy's head, knocking him unconscious. Mary tried to run away into the woods, but the man caught up and did the same to her. Thankfully, before he could go further, he got spooked by a set of approaching headlights on the nearby road and ran away. Mary immediately ran to the nearest house and asked them to call the police. Jimmy also regained consciousness and hailed down a passing car to ask for help. However, by the time the police arrived on the scene to investigate, the man had vanished without a trace. Jimmy and Marie were taken to the hospital where it was discovered that the strike had fractured Jimmy's skull in multiple places. Fortunately, he was able to recover without any lasting injuries and describe what he remembered from that night. Both he and Mary gave the same statements about the overall build of the masked man, that he was around 6 feet tall and fairly slender. But for some reason, the two couldn't agree on his ethnicity. Jimmy insisted that he was a Caucasian, while Mary stayed adamant that he was of African origin. This contradiction, along with the seemingly unprovoked nature of the incident, led investigators to incorrectly believe the couple knew the man and were simply trying to protect him. What they didn't
Was he wearing gloves? Oh, you could tell by his voice.
realize was that while Jimmy and Mary survived to give a description, the next couple wouldn't be as fortunate. About a month later, on March 24th, a man was driving down a secluded road on the outskirts of Texarkana when he noticed a car parked on the road ahead. From a distance, it looked like a young man was sleeping in that car, slumped over on the steering wheel. However, as the driver got closer, he suspected that something wasn't right, so he pulled over to the side and walked up to the other car to try to wake him up, only to come to a scene far more horrific than he could have ever imagined. Put simply, the young man had already passed away long before the driver stumbled across him. He also noticed a woman in the backseat who had sadly suffered the same fate. Police were called to the scene, and they quickly identified the two as Richard Griffin and his girlfriend Polly Ann Moore. Both were killed with shots to the head. Unfortunately, the only evidence investigators were able to gather from the crime scene was a single .32 caliber cartridge. And while they didn't know it at this point, this incident was also the doing of the same man Jimmy and Mary had encountered a month earlier. The police finally made this connection on April 14th when another couple encountered the same man while on an isolated road, and they were killed with a firearm of the same caliber. News of these 3 incidents quickly spread through Texarkana, putting all the residents on high alert. Fearing for their safety, most residents stopped driving at night entirely, while the remaining made sure to avoid empty roads at all costs. The masked man was also given the name of the Texarkana Phantom due to his inability to appear and disappear without a trace. And true to his name, he was becoming harder to track with each passing day, even after the FBI got involved. After 2 more months of fruitless searching, one of the investigators noticed that the vehicles were stolen shortly before each incident and were found abandoned not long after. Following this lead led to a man named Ewell Swinney, a car thief with 2 felonies to his name already. His height and build matched what Jimmy and Mary had described earlier. More importantly, when an officer tried to arrest him for the 3rd time for car theft, he claimed that he knew that the officer wanted him for more than stealing cars. Unfortunately, investigators weren't able to find any evidence linking Ewell directly to the 3 haunting road encounters. Luckily, his prior felonies allowed prosecutors to give the harshest punishment for his 3rd theft-related offense, and sentenced him to life in prison. That being said, Ewell continued to deny any involvement in the 3 incidents until his
You know what I would have did if I would pull the opposite right? I would have been like, hey, what type of cars y'all got? Oh, I drive a Beetle. Okay. Take a couple of those cars, get out of uniform, and repeat. Go to the same places, right? Or places similar to where the victim was at, right? And replay everything they did. And eventually, right, doing that right, don't raise no alarm. Don't warn people. You feel me? Because if you start warning people, they're gonna be more cautious. You're gonna be more cautious, right? So what you do is, right? You grab the same similar cars, right? You get a man and a female, a woman and a man cop, right? Had them drive in similar places close to where the victim was at, right? Similar areas, right? Repeat what they did, right? Day in, day out, right? Day in, day out, nighttime, right? And you will come across. And you will come across the same person. You feel me? By repeating what the victims did, and then through that, right? Y'all can either have uppercuts following close by with their headlights off, or stalking the area, or y'all can just have film the officers who's undercover ready to use lethal force at you feel me? Off rip, you feel me? That what they should have did. That would have caught him. You feel me? They would have caught him.
End in 1994, leaving the Texarkana Phantom encounters a somewhat unresolved mystery to this day. On the 8th of January 2024, a truck driver was driving on a remote stretch of highway in Western Australia when at around 11 p.m., this driver had the most unnerving road encounter of his life. Nearly 62 miles south of Perth, he saw what looked like 2 people dragging something across the highway. They showed up almost out of nowhere, forcing the truck driver to swerve around them at a dangerous speed. But by the time he stopped the truck and looked back, they had already vanished into the surrounding darkness. Which begs the question, what were they dragging and why? Unfortunately, the answer to both these questions is extremely ambiguous. For starters, it's extremely difficult to identify what exactly they were dragging. Going frame by frame, we can see what looks like the legs of another person wearing shorts and black shoes. So maybe the 2 people were trying to hide the primary evidence of their horrific crime. But in motion, it looked more like an animal or something in between. It could even be a life-size plush, though that doesn't explain its...
Let me stop it there, bro. That's a fucking body, bro. Come on, Mr. Nightmare. Come on, bro. You see 1 leg, 2 legs, 1 arm. The motherfucker that looked like was doing the dragging looked like a fucking animal. That's not human. That don't look human, bro. Well, my trap broken. I'll probably hit something. Let me see. Wait, my chat messed up now? Oh, it can't be. You're in here. Oh, that's weird. I don't know. It's particularly... I don't know. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. No opinion, but rest in peace. I guess. I don't know. I'm going to see. But yeah, those not humans. Those ain't people, bro.
Very human-like proportions. Regardless of what it was, however, an equally important question is why 2 people would drag something across a highway. On September 16th, 2018, an Uber driver from New York shared the terrifying encounter he had with an angry man on Long Island. He was about to complete a ride when, out of nowhere,
They don't think shit.
another car drove past him at a very high speed while barely avoiding a collision.
Yeah.
But before the Uber driver could even process what had happened, The other driver slammed on the brakes and parked in the middle of the road, blocking him from moving forward. He then got out of the car, ran over, and started bashing on the windows, telling the Uber driver to get out.
This is.
What's going on? What's going on?
I don't know.
What is that?
I would have ran his ass over. Running people over in self-defense, bro, cannot be a crime. That can't be a crime, right? That is a crime.
What's that?
You blew the fucking right leg. Get the fuck out of the car right now.
Just
not
go,
getting
just
out
go,
of the
go, 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 just go, just go, go, go around him. Go. Go around.
It's unclear if this was simply unprovoked road rage or an attempt to rob the driver and his passengers. Not wanting to find out the answer, the Uber driver made the correct decision and backed up to find a different route to his destination. However, there was no way for him to predict just how relentless the other driver would be. As soon as the Uber driver changed routes, the other driver got in his car as well and started chasing him no matter where he went. Things went from bad to worse as they approached a red light, which would have given the other driver a chance to catch up and do something terrible before the police arrived. But in a remarkable stroke of luck, the Uber driver found a cop already waiting on the other side of the intersection. They were able to explain the situation to the officers, resulting in the other driver getting arrested for driving while intoxicated.
Stopped the car, got out of the car, was trying to fight with me. So I backed up and turned around, and then he was pursuing me. And these girls,
Call 911.
these girls called 911, and the officer pursued him.
Put simply, the other driver wasn't
To put it simply, right? Mr. Nightmare, I got it. I got it. I got it. Say your breath. To put it simply, right? If somebody gets out of their car, in a aggressive, erratic behavior, animalistic manner, and it charges you, please make sure to buckle up and run them over. For the safety of not only you, but of your passengers. Because you never know what could have happened if he got you. Hey, I got you, bro. I got you, bro. I got you.
thinking clearly and could have been armed. If the Uber driver had panicked when he first approached, all three of them might have lost their lives.
Yeah, with that. Oh, hold on. Well, we're going to do that one next. With that, we out of here, man.